That guy. That guy's dunzo. You can see right there all that condensation from the heater core. So like, what's going on? So we're starting off the day a little bit later in the afternoon, getting back on the bullnose, getting back on a lot of these projects I've been putting off due to school projects, power tour, my F100. All of the things that led up to that moment are all behind us now. We're moving forward into 2024 with a lot of really cool goals and plans. One of those is getting my shop truck done, because it's just been this long thing that keeps getting put on the afterburner that I want to wrap up. So, and as you can see, I have actually been daily driving this for the most part until you can probably see all the coolant on the floor. The heater core just gave out, and the oil plug doesn't really want to seal anymore, so that's cool. I also went ahead and put new wires on it, but everything's just not, I don't like it. There's a lot of things that aren't put together as efficiently as I have on other builds like my Fox body or my truck, and this being a workhorse, everything needs to work. So the heater core did just die. It was sitting in here after I did the spark plugs, and you can see it's all wet still right here, and it just gave way, and I watched all the moisture go down the heat shield. You can see right there all that condensation from the heater core. And I just watched it drip, and I was like, dang. I knew that was coming eventually, I just didn't think it was this soon. So it's kind of one of those things where you know it's gonna happen eventually, and it just kind of sucks when it does. So I think we're just gonna finally do our full service. So I gotta do belts, hoses. I mean, these are all still really good, so I don't think I'm gonna change these yet. And this thing runs so cold. I mean, the temp doesn't get anywhere near anything warm. So I know everything's working efficiently, but I wanna go ahead and pull the box out, heater core out, change that, throw the evaporator in it, get everything ready to make the AC actually work in this thing, and just overall do a full service. This thing needs it, deserves it. So let's get into it. Thank you. Oh, nice. Alrighty, upper intake is off. We're gonna go ahead and do a full service on this thing. I think I have another throttle body. It's bigger, but I don't think it's worth actually putting on. So I'm just gonna pull everything off and clean it all. I'm going to aluminum brightener the intake so you can actually read it. And I'm actually gonna paint over the electronic fuel injection. I'm gonna show you guys how I paint this without taping or stenciling or doing everything. There's a couple of tricks that I've learned. I'll show you guys. And just do a gasket change and everything. Bacon, mac, and cheese mechanic, master tech Megan. Going at it, getting the valve covers off. I just appreciate the angle, because that would never happen with my legs. I can't even touch my own toes, let alone lay your legs flat across like that. I was also noticing the injectors are absolute potatoes, so those are going to want to come out. I think I'm just gonna rob the injectors out of the Fox body, because you can see those just do not look good. Because the one issue I was running into with this thing is you'd be driving it, and under hard acceleration it would like buck and like fall on its face. That's one of the reasons it's in here. It's not actually like drivable. I want to be able to tow a trailer with this thing. I can't tow a damn thing with this if it can't drive down the road. So I need to make sure all that stuff's doing good. Fuel pressure, I think I want to put another fuel filter in it. Make sure that everything in the tank got cleaned out. And just kind of overall we're doing the full service, doing everything. So yeah, but we're helping out a lot. This is nice.
Pressure's on.
Ugh. Oh my goodness. Take that. That is big nasty. Yeah, that's less than ideal. Oh my lord.
So bad.
Yikes. This is what every 302 that's over 30 years old looks like, I swear. Oh wow, this one looks like straight dog water. Look at all that poopy in there.
That's so nasty.
So that's kind of what I figured. This thing's gonna need like 800 fluid flushes and like all sorts of acids and gnarly oils to get all this crap out. This is what happens when you let vehicles sit. This is also what happens when you don't really change your oil very often, is you have carbon composites build up, and that's pretty much You know, if anyone tells you that they took care of a vehicle and they changed their oil every 3,000 miles and they didn't lie to you, best way to do it is look under the valve covers. I know this motor's sat for a long time, but there ain't no way the oil was changed very often in this truck. There's no way if it would not look like that. So the amount of carbon composites on this thing, either the evap system was not working very well at all and it was creating an excessive amount of carbon in the engine, which I doubt, or the oil was like never changed. So either way, we are changing it now. Seems like it'll hopefully get a lot better, but it's gonna take a few fluid changes to get all the crap out of this engine. But it's okay, this engine just needs to work, and when this engine doesn't work, we'll put a better engine in it. So the gasket's actually leaked on this thing down to the belt housing, onto the floor. I already covered it up, you can see the mess that it's making. So this thing didn't leak a drop of anything until the valve cover started leaking. So the valve cover gaskets on both sides failed. Once we fix those, and I already put a new drain plug in it, everything will be good. We'll have no leaks out of this nearly 40-plus-year-old truck, which is super rad. So getting there, but a little bit more to go and start on the interior. Yikes. So I was hoping this side would be a little better, which it is. So naturally one side's gonna be worse than the other due to the PCV system that's on these things. And that's pretty much gonna create, in the EGR tube, you're gonna find a lot of carbon because it's essentially reburning carbon molecules. So that's why the other side looked just as, or actually a lot worse. So this one still doesn't look fantastic by any means. I think a couple, like probably 2 or 3 oil changes, this thing will look pretty good, assuming the motor lasts that long. But yeah, you can definitely see the gasket failed on the bottom. You can see the consistent wet gasket right there, and that would drip down the back side of the block. That's the oil we do have. You're gonna get that fixed and start putting it back together. Cleaning the valve cover mating surface to the block because it was like, there's a bunch of dried pieces of cork stuck to it, and that's the reason that we're fixing this is they leaked, so I'm trying to make sure they don't leak again. So yeah, some brake cleaner rag, maybe some Scotch-Brite, maybe a couple of gasket scrapers. Get it done.
No, I'm the welder.
Oh, that's a nice hole right there.
That's what
So many noises.
she said.
So we went ahead and took everything for the AC system and the heater system off and unhooked it all. It's pretty much all garbage at this point, so we're going to be replacing it. And then I went ahead and took all the very pesky bolts off of the heater core, I guess heater box housing and everything. And I'm going to try to take it out. This is for the cruise control, I believe, or one of the vacuum canisters. Good. Ooh. I need to take the heater core. That's what actually failed, and somebody's replaced this before or attempted to repair some sort of a leak. You can see there's a bunch of like caulking around that, and that was around the bolts and everything, so that was nice and frustrating. But yeah, so look how much more room is in here. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. You can see it's nice and roomy in here, but everything up here is all good in the motor. We're gonna go ahead and delete probably this heater passage right here. This basically goes into the throttle body and helps the engine warm up faster. We don't really need that. We don't want that. We don't want hot intake temperatures. I also destroyed my knuckle on the intake earlier. Yeah, this will give me a nice chance to go ahead and degrease and clean everything over there, and I'll go ahead and I'll replace the heater in the heater box, and we'll be good to go. So sure enough, on the inside of this is about what I expected. This is pretty much every single one of these that I do it ends up, I don't even understand how the rats manage to get in here, but they do. And they make a rest, and then they die, and then your blend door doesn't work because all it's doing the entire time is you can literally see where it was, because it ends up just pushing against a bunch of rat crap and nests and stuff like that. So we're gonna get all that out, get this all cleaned up in the back of the truck. Alrighty, we have our new versus our old unit. You can see we got this thing at one point. It's funny, my uncle, this was my uncle's truck for those of you guys who did not know, and it literally says, installed new, 3/19/1998. This was before I was even born. This was over 20 years ago this was put in. And then APL is his name, which I won't say, but yeah, that's his initials, which is kind of funny. The L is Low Presti, that is my last name. But yeah. So this is our old unit. You can see it looks like it failed on the bottom corner, and that's where it was leaking. And there was some sort of sealant put in up top that my uncle did for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I have a feeling it was because there used to be a little foam piece that went around that to seal it, and it wasn't there before. So that had been replaced with like a caulking that really not fun to take out. So thanks, Uncle. But we have another seal. I'm gonna take this seal off of here and just transfer it over to the new one. Seal into our box, and this will allow it to kind of snap in a little more snug, no more vibrations or anything weird. And then I'll try to find something to go around here, but if not, no worries. And then this will be our new heater unit. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in, snaps into the old location pretty easily. 6 bolts on the cover under the dash. The glove box door comes out, very easy to access, very easy to take out and replace. You can do a heater core on one of these in less than 10 minutes if you're good enough. And the evaporator is the hard one. That one, the front of the box has to come out. But either way, we're doing both of them, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in the truck. Alright guys, so we got the shop truck back in the bay. We're gonna work on it a little bit more. So I got it running, as you guys saw. Megan and I did all the work, or actually Megan did all the work. I didn't even do any of it. Megan put the whole truck back together, runs flawlessly. But I noticed under hard acceleration, this thing has a pretty good breakup. So we've been taking a break doing a bunch of work on this. You've probably seen some time has passed. We're getting back on this thing. And under hard acceleration up hills, this thing breaks up really bad. And I'm pretty sure the fuel pump's dying. So all the work that we did underneath the hood did really well. So now we're going back underneath and kind of finishing up some of the loose ends that I hadn't before. So I didn't replace the updraft fuel pump, fuel pressure regulator, and the fuel filter. Well, I did replace the filter, but I'm gonna replace it again. So these are the last 3 things in this fuel system I have not replaced. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in now, starting with the fuel pump. This is the updraft one, this is the main one. And I noticed when you turn the key, the priming is a little bit quieter. So I think the biggest thing here is the fuel pump's dying and the fuel pressure is falling. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all these 3 things in it, and then we should be able to dive into the interior and make that thing a little bit better. But we are definitely getting there, slowly but surely. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that'll do it. I'd say that filter's a little clogged. Look at that guy. That guy's donezo. Holy wow, that is wild. That thing's done. Old new. There we go. We're gonna put that in. That should fix a lot of problems. Okay, you can see, so this is inside where the fuel filter sits. And we've already cleaned this thing out once. We cleaned the tank. This is just what has happened over, you know, a few hundred miles of driving. So it's a good thing if you've had these things sitting for a few years, go ahead and open them up and check them, because you never know what we might find in there. I mean, this is literally solid. So, and that filter is pretty much junk. So that's 100% what the problem is we have a fuel pressure issue because can't pull any fuel. Filter's clogged. Okay, so here is our old pump. Let me go grab the new one. All right, and there is our new one. So if I go ahead and pry this guy out, don't need that right now. This is what we're looking at. I think this thing's still good. I think the fuel pump or the filter was what was bad and clogged, but I can definitely see some shmoo in here. So we're just gonna replace it. It doesn't really take much to do so. Just gotta go ahead and get these guys off. There we go. You can see I got a flat versus a stud, so I don't even know if they give me, oh yeah, they did give me a nut. Oh, they gave me crimps too. Looks like they know that they did it the wrong way. Alright, so we're gonna put it back in. You can actually hear way louder. Should fire right up. It's got no feeling, so I'm gonna have to prime all the air. For a little bit, but yeah, this is by far, you can see, this was our problem. So this is all the stuff that came out. Mind you, I've replaced this, and this is all the smooth that came out of the tank, so that tells me that there was some stuff left over. There's like peanuts, or I don't even know what the hell that is, but this thing was like clogged completely, so put a new filter in it, new pump. I ended up not putting a regulator in it just because it's mounted, for whatever stupid reason, Ford put it under the hardware underneath the fuel rail, so I got to take the intake and the fuel rail off. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just mounted on top. They're not, so I don't think the pressure regulator is the problem here. If it still runs like crap, I'll change it, but I just want to test it with what's already there. I mean, the regulator is just a diaphragm, but that's like a physical problem. It seems like it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. So I'm gonna go drive it around and probably try to drive it home today, and hopefully it's fixed. Alright guys, so there you have it. Bullnose is back into the mix. Seems mechanically sound. I'm super stoked about it. And honestly, I'm happy to just have this truck back and working, because after we got it running, I drove the thing around a little bit and it was great for a while. And then I realized, because we didn't replace the tank, we just cleaned it, there is sediment that you'll miss. We didn't have a lot of resources where we were when we got the thing running, so we were using rocks and solvents and just whatever we could to clean out the tank. We didn't have all the correct chemicals and the time to let it sit overnight and let all that acid bake off whatever crud was in the tank. So I'm sure that there's stuff in that, and obviously the filter shows that. So I expect in the future I'm gonna have to change the filter a couple more times, which isn't a big deal. I'll keep one on hand if I need to, but after it, drove it around, seems like it's fine. So we're gonna run it for a little while. I'm gonna daily drive the thing and see how it goes. We're gonna be leading into the interior. So you can see behind me, there is a carpet kit. I've reshot the bench seat. There's a bunch of interior panels we're going to be putting on this thing and restoring it, making it look just awesome on the inside, bringing back that red velvet interior, because what better way to encapsulate the 80s than having a nice red velvet Ford interior. So with that being said, go ahead and grab your merchandise at 99speedcompany.com. Like the video if you did enjoy. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video of the Bullnose.